Casual conversation.
Come into my life. I got so much love to show you.
Ooh, it's a bit of a nice
that song's
musical one.
Fire, bro. I've been singing that song all day.
Have you?
Yeah. No, I don't know why. You know when the song just pop up in your mind for no reason?
Gold by Spandau Ballet.
Yeah. That was last week for me.
But every time I sing that song, I think of Phone Shop.
Oh,
don't touch my gold. Reach for my gold.
I miss that
do you know what?
so much.
PSA. Any British peeps, and fucking not even British peeps.
PSA? Alright.
Any single person who hasn't seen Phone Shop, watch Phone Shop.
Please do. We probably have spoken about this on the podcast.
I think we've briefly spoken about it.
Yeah, please do watch Phone Shop. It's hilarious. I don't know where the writers are now. I'm gonna have to do some Googling and
I
see
would
what
absolutely love if this podcast ever gets any traction that we can get some of the actors of Phone Shop on this podcast to talk about Phone Shop.
What's his name? I think it's in the show he's Jermaine or something. I think he's doing like GoDaddy adverts.
He does do the GoDaddy adverts.
I'm not sure what the other dudes are doing or everyone else. I know
I've seen so the new man, whatever his name was, and then the guy who was with Jermaine, like his right hand man. I've seen them in Ricky Gervais's Afterlife.
Oh, cool.
So they're still doing comedy acting.
Yeah. And obviously Lance will find his way because he's done In Between Us.
Yeah, he was Simon's dad. Yeah,
that was
I don't know about the girl. What was the lady called? I want to say Janine. Was it Janine?
Janine.
Was it Janine?
No, I think you're right. I think it was Janine.
Yeah, that was a good show, man.
That was a really good show.
But yeah, PSA, anyone that wants sort of a low-key, great British comedy, go watch that. It's only a few seasons long.
About three...
Two, three? I don't even know.
It's about 3 seasons. It might be 3 or 4
watch
seasons.
Watch it. They also do a grime track and a grime video in there, and it is fucking hilarious.
Chicken box prick. Oh my god. Alright, man. Welcome to the Betwixt Ideas Podcast, guys. This is episode 24?
5? 4? I think it's 4.
I think it's 4. If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter.
It's on your podcast app.
Facts don't matter.
Facts don't matter.
My name is Shaq. How am I feeling today?
Are you feeling Mr. Morale?
Nah, you know what I'm feeling like right now, bro?
The big step on?
Not even that. But there's a tweet that Jamie's tweeted out years ago. He said, I feel like that sandwich in like a kid's lunchbox that's been propped against the wall on a hot summer's day.
Ooh. It is
while
hot
he
today.
goes and plays patball and shit.
If that's a hint to how hot it is today, it is.
It's quite hot. Like it's not as hot as I think it's gonna be. It's just like it's like a teaser to like the
this
summer
is like the first hot day of the year.
Proper hot.
And being British, and I mean I'm white British, rather you being black British, I struggle in the heat.
I'm black and I still just can't deal with like the heat sometimes. I don't mean like I will
the
go
heat in this
outside.
country is disgusting.
It is because it's very muggy.
It's muggy, humid. It makes you wanna just stay in a constant state of shower
and shade. Like you don't want to like step
shower
out.
And shade. Yeah.
And like because of how our houses are built, if you guys are outside of the UK,
yes, they're built to keep the heat in.
Yeah, because we don't get hot days like this. So when it does get hot, it's absolutely fucking.
It's like a greenhouse.
Boom. Exactly. So I know American houses are built differently where it is more for like heat to pass through and in and out and whatever.
A lot of them have AC as well.
Yeah, every house has AC. So yeah, you guys are set for it. Like you guys get a lot of like intense like weather over there. Like they get like, blizzards and like thunderstorms,
hurricanes and or tornadoes or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're prepared.
I think America is the only continent. North America, that is the only continent in the world that has every single extreme weather type, or can get every extreme weather type.
Yeah. Like I hear a lot of like
because they get droughts on the West Coast.
They do get droughts on the West Coast. That's fucking crazy. Like it's,
and then you think Middle America gets like snowstorms.
Yeah, so like Colorado. They get like their snowstorms.
Or like Wisconsin,
Detroit have like up the north, like Detroit and New York, like get it really bad with the snow. So, but it's hot. That's all I can really say.
It's a hot day.
That's basically the gist of what we're talking about.
How are you feeling though?
I'm alright, man. Like if I decide to take a day off on Friday, because I thought, fuck it, why not?
Were you that excited for the release of our podcast that you had to take the day off?
No, it's just another day for me. But
I'm joking.
I know.
I'm joking.
Nah, you know, in the summer you just start taking days off because, like, why not?
Do you know what? I'm one of those people. I only take days off
When you need to.
when I need to. Yeah.
No, bro. You know what? Invest in like just taking a random day off. Don't even matter what you're doing. Just
We'll see.
Like, be one of the ones where you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go catch a movie.
But do you know what? We got a couple bank holidays coming up soon. So maybe after those, when the weeks start feeling long and the days start feeling longer, I'll take some days off.
When's the next bank holiday? It's like August, isn't it?
No. Beginning of June, bro.
Seriously, let me check my calendar.
For the Queen's Platinum. Is it Platinum Jubilee?
It is Platinum Jubilee.
It's the Thursday and the Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for all the people that don't know that live in the UK, you have the 2nd and 3rd of June off. Unless you work in retail, then
Fuck retail.
I've been there. Shaq's been there. Pay your dues, and you will get out.
You will. Unless you have to fuck up someone in your job. Like, have you ever been close to fucking someone up at retail?
At retail,
Like when you're working in retail, have you ever been
customer?
close?
Yes.
Oh my god. Somebody could have caught the hands where I was working. Like, they could have caught the hands and the feet.
Do you know what? Let's not incriminate ourselves.
I didn't say I did it.
This early on in the podcast
I'm
run.
just saying, you know, somebody
Allegedly.
caught the beats.
Allegedly caught the beats.
No, someone could have.
Yeah, allegedly could have.
Alright, man, let's get into the main crux of this podcast, man.
Yes, yeah, man.
This is a review of the Kendrick Lamar album. You know, this is his sixth studio
product.
album. So we had Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled Unmastered as well.
Yes.
Damn, and now this is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Do you know what? I think what we should do is we should take a little time warp back and talk about the first thing that dropped for this album. It's not technically for this album, but it is for this album in a way. If you know or are familiar with Kendrick's work, before he drops a major project, he drops a track called The Heart.
Yeah, from his Heart series, like, you know, it's tradition. It's kind of like, you know, like Christmas time, where everyone has their little traditions. It's kind of like that, you know. He just drops his little track. We might get the album like 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
or a month later at the most. So
yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a little warm up for the main show. It's like a little, what are they called when like you have someone come on before
opening act.
Opening acts.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
it's like a little opening act.
It definitely gets us excited. Like, I'm always excited. So I remember, damn, was there a heart before To Pimp a Butterfly came out?
I don't remember. There must be if there was. So the one for this album is The Heart Part 5.
Yeah, because one of my favorite ones is The Heart Part 2, which is on the mixtape, the Overly Dedicated mixtape, which is one of my favorite mixtapes ever.
Okay.
I used to listen to that all the time in uni, like a lot. So,
Okay.
So if you guys don't know, I am probably one of the biggest Kendrick Lamar fans walking this planet.
And I can fact check that. Even though we've said facts don't matter, for this one in particular, it does matter because it is true. It is true.
I am a very, very big listener of him. I've gone to the Damn tour. I've seen him perform.
Oh, do you know what's really funny? I'm on O2 and they sent me a text message just before I come over to here saying, would you like priority tickets for Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers tour?
I might see what the
November.
I might see what the performance list.
I think it's November at the O2, which would be our most local one.
If he plays anything off the Pimp a Butterfly, I might drop her.
Usually with these tours, they play a lot of their music from.
Yeah, see, on the Damn tour, he played a lot from the Damn album, and then he played like maybe 1 or 2 songs from Good Kid, Mad City. So he played "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe."
Oh, he kind of has to with that.
Yeah, he said like, it was just one of them ones like, yo.
What about Swimming Pools?
I don't think he plays swimming pools. I might be wrong. Hey, baby, 1 second. My cat wants to like sit on my lap. Come here, baby.
The Heart Part 5.
Yeah, so
let's talk about the Heart Part 5 because that was weird.
Yeah, my cat got on my lap and then got off.
But the part Heart 5.
The part Heart, yeah.
The part Heart. Part 5. What did you think?
Great track. Great track. So
I completely agree.
Listen, man, the first thing, he came out the gate with the Marvin Gaye sample, Now, first of all, if you like, listen, guy, I think I've told you guys, I'm a big hip hop fan, and I know how
you're a music guy in general as well, but hip hop is your forte.
That's my bread and butter, yeah. And listen, getting samples is not easy, like especially from big artists like your Marvin Gaye's, your Michael Jacksons, your Princes.
And I think the Marvin Gaye estate is probably
they're quite strict.
Yeah.
Because if you guys remember, they had a bit of a lawsuit with Pharrell. We know the song Bloodlines. Who made that song?
Robin Thicke,
Pharrell. They literally had to pay out a lot of money for that song because it used a kind of like a sample from one of the Marvin Gaye songs. I think Got to Give It Up, one of the drum patterns.
Yeah, I remember now.
But it wasn't a direct sample. It was like a rendition of it.
It was too similar type of thing. There's a lot of that stuff going on in music where things. I think we spoke about it before, where people get caught out when things just sound very similar.
Well, it happens, man. Like I said, nothing under the sun is original. So there's going to be some times where you might copy someone unintentionally or intentionally. You never know. But yeah, Kendrick came out the gate with the Marvin Gaye sample, man. That's a flex.
It is a flex.
Of money. That's a lot of fucking money to get that sample.
Well, this is the thing. And I think once we get into sort of talking about the album, when I heard The Heart Part 5, I was like, damn, is this what we're getting?
Let's talk about the lyrics, man.
Okay.
He's talking a lot about culture. And he's talking a lot about the black experience. Not as...
something I'm not familiar with, but yes.
He's talking a lot just about how... God, a lot of people just hurt people, man. We're in this kind of loop of just bullshit, hurting people get killed, and then we're just back to doing all this bullshit again. We don't really...
It's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle, man. And that's what I thought we were going to get on this album. We kind of got something similar.
There's parts. But
the flow, this man... I don't know what kind of pocket you find on like a Marvin Gaye sample like that, because that's a lot of...
Do you know, my initial thought when he started this, it was like, like slam poetry.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I got from it. Like even because it dropped with the video, certainly that was the first I saw.
We also got to talk about the video as well,
and
that's very important.
The video is amazing.
Yeah, he's using the deep fake technology,
and it opens up and he's there. And he to me, it's like a slam poetry sort of the way he's delivering the lines. And I mean, people can disagree with me with this, but I think Kendrick in his flow sometimes can be very poetic, like
no, of course,
but like someone at like a slam poetry sort of thing. And it's quite beautiful sometimes. And I know that sounds mad,
no, bro, it's cool, man.
And when I heard this, I was like, this is peak Kendrick.
No,
this is Pete Kendrick.
It's very difficult to find a pocket in like something like that kind of sample, that kind of rhythm. So I was very impressed when he was flowing.
I was impressed. I've listened to that a lot.
I've listened to it a handful of times. I haven't listened to it too much because I didn't want to like overkill myself with Kendrick.
No, I hear that. I was
trying to be very
I think
open.
I've listened to it more since the album's dropped, if that makes sense. I listen to that with the album as like an accompany piece, because to me it's the same project.
So I need to bring up these lyrics, cause
pull up the lyrics, bro.
He also does like a tribute to Nipsey Hussle,
yes,
as well,
he does.
which he passed away 2019.
I was going to say a little while ago. Yeah,
it's been a long time, man.
I was going to say, was it as recent as 2019?
Yeah, no, I remember.
Wow,
I
do you know what?
My new job.
Do you know what? With COVID and everything, it feels longer.
Yeah,
it feels longer.
COVID's fucked up like time.
Yeah,
completely. So let's see. We go. This is the lyric that got me so gassed. He's like, niggas going to work, selling work, late for work, working late, praying for work, but he on paperwork. I was like, bruh, do you know how sick that is, bro? That's real. That's so real. Going to work, selling work, late for work, working late, praying for work, but you on the paperwork.
It's quite deep, isn't it, really?
It's very deep, man. It's very
But that's Kendrick to a T. He's quite a deep artist, and he has thought-provoking material, and he's always had thought-provoking material. Okay, I'm not saying every single track is as deep and as thought-provoking as the last, but I think this is why a lot of people gravitate to Kendrick, because he's doing something that not many artists, and especially in today's market, are doing.
Well, yeah, look, yes and no. So, like, Kendrick's definitely, he got a message. Everyone, like, a lot of people like messages in their music. That's what they like to dig into it, like to pick things apart.
I think it's more than just a message; it's a story.
It's a story as well. I think that's what people enjoy about Kendrick is that there's always he's topical. He's always got something to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, in the album, he has a COVID line.
Yeah.
He has a COVID line.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't remember what track that's on, but he has a COVID line.
He was talking about Dr. Sebi and shit. Listen, I haven't got much to say about Dr. Sebi. I haven't done my research.
No.
But I know he's a very polarizing person because, of course, you know, he had a lot of things that he said. He cured AIDS. He's cured cancer. He's got this, like, that's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different conversation.
Because I don't know a lot about Dr. Sebi. I know a few things, but so I ain't gonna talk on the man like I know him. But yeah, you got a little tribute to Nipsey, man. That was touching, man. Because it was.
Were they close? I'm unaware.
They worked together.
They worked together. Okay.
Like on Nipsey's last album, which was Victory Lap, which is a great album.
It is a good album. Yeah.
Very good album. They worked together on a few. I think he's done also some stuff on his mixtape stuff and all some.
Okay, I'm not too mixed. Do you know what? With me, I completely missed the mark with mixtapes, and I shouldn't. Ooh. And I know you've been on me before. It's like, you need to listen to this mixtape. You need to listen to this mixtape.
Listen, man, mixtapes. There was a point in time where mixtapes were just 3 albums.
You're not wrong.
There was a very small point in time where, like, if we're gonna talk like about mixtapes, I know it might be a little detour here. Lil Wayne. Fucking,
I think that's probably when I was on mixtapes, but I fell off mixtapes. Yeah. But they're still relevant. They're still good. They're still good material from artists. I don't know what it is. I don't think I follow music as much as I used to, and certainly not as much as you do.
Yeah, I've definitely fallen off a little bit, but I try and keep in, like, a lot of it is just on Twitter, man. Like, a lot of people on Twitter keep me.
Yeah, I don't. I very, very, very rarely use that devil.
Oh man, it's anyway, but it's a great track nonetheless. Like, Kendrick did his thing, man. I was really excited. So I was excited. I didn't know what kind of sounds we're gonna get, because.
But then when you hear the Marvin Gaye sample and like the jazziness of the track, I was thinking, damn. And I mean, we had the title of the album, Mr. Morale and the Big Step. Is it the Big Steppers or just Big Steppers?
The Big Steppers.
The Big Steppers. I mean, there was loads of speculation that it was going to be a jazzy, funky album.
I wasn't sure, man, because coming off from Damn, he gave us something a bit more modern, a little bit more easy on the ear. Not too easy, but easier than To Pimp a Butterfly. Because as much as I love that album, I know that it's a lot to get through.
Do you know, I've said this to you before, and I've said this to other people. It's just like, I love To Pimp a Butterfly. However, To Pimp a Butterfly talks a lot about the black experience, which I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I'm not being ignorant. It's something I can obviously sympathize with, and I can empathize with my fellow friends and my fellow, like, mankind and everything. But it's something I personally don't have experience in.
That's fine, bro. Listen, I'm glad you're taking that stance, because there are a lot of white people that want to pretend like they know the black experience because I listen to like a few hip hop albums.
No, man, I don't. I listen to it and I can appreciate it, and I can understand it to a certain degree, but I could never fully understand it.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, man.
Because I'm a human being. I can empathize with people, but unless you actually live something, you can't.
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
But I love To Pimp a Butterfly, and I think I've said on this podcast before, I do really like Damn as well. I know Damn has quite mixed reviews.
Yeah, I think Damn is, I wouldn't say it's completely polarizing. I would say some people aren't as fond with it because they feel like it was a little bit too all over the place in certain places.
I can understand that.
I think it's a little bit too over the place, but there's something about Damn that keeps drawing me back to where I'm like, I know this is as great as what he's done before, but this is still really good.
There's an interesting structure in Damn, with like the title tracks, and they're all
they're all like little polar opposites of each other. Yes. You've got like Blood, and you got DNA, you got Lust, and then Pride,
and
oh no, it's the single.
Humble.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, no, there was a little interesting little thing he's doing. He's kind of doing the same thing on this album.
He does do the same on this album, but he does it even better. And this is something that I was lost on when I first listened to it. I knew it was a double album, but I didn't realize the split. And the split is they're sort of the songs, and I'm not 100% sure on the ins and outs, but they're mirrors of each other.
Yeah,
the two sides of the album.
I think that's where he was going with this thing.
It's quite smart. It's quite clever.
Yeah, no, it's clever. It's clever. I didn't really clock into it.
No,
recently,
I didn't either.
But how are we gonna do this now? Let's just get into like the first track of this.
I mean, we can. Yeah, we can talk about sort of each track as it goes. I mean, some tracks are more stick out to me more than the. So I think, how many times have you listened to it? The complete
album? About 4 times.
You listened to the album 4 times?
About 4 times, just from when it released last week Friday. So
yeah, we're recording this on the Tuesday, and you're listening to this on the Friday. So when you're listening to it, the album has been out a week.
Yeah, so I have my little routines, because obviously there's always Music Fridays where big albums just drop on the Friday. And I have a routine where I get up early and I go to Asda, because I need to pick up my click and collect shopping, whatever. So when I'm just driving, throw it on in the car.
Do you know what?
Test is a
car
big
test
deal.
Is a good one.
Car test is a very, very important, because if it doesn't run in the car, then it's not tough. And granted, I want to come out the gate and say, just offer it before I get into any other tracks, I think it's all right.
The album as a whole?
As a whole, I think it's okay.
I will agree with you. I've listened to the album about 2.5 times. And the reason I say half is because I've listened to some tracks more than twice.
Yeah.
Because there is some... So if I love an album, I will listen to the whole album in order. Yeah. When I'm not so keen on an album, I will pick out the songs that I like. And it's not that I don't like this album. I think it's fine. I don't know if I fully get it yet. So I've picked out a few songs that I like, and we'll go through the track list in a minute. We'll sort of run through it. We won't go into too much detail on each track, otherwise we'll be here forever. But yeah, I've listened to it about 2.5 times, and I'm sort of with you. It's all right.
It's all right. I think what we'll do, I'll start off with things that I don't like about this album, and then we'll go into the good afterwards. Start off with bad, end with good. I think it will be a nice little thing with that.
What, and then go into the track list, or do you want to just forego that and just go into bad, good?
Yeah, so I can talk about tracks and its sort of individuality from.
Do you know what? Let's do bad, good. Forget the individual tracks, because I'll be honest with you, there's some tracks that I cannot remember for the life of me.
Yeah, they're like interludes we can't really talk about much, but
so let's just talk bad, good. So we'll go back. We'll go the bad things. Bad, I think, is unfair. More we didn't like.
I call it bad. Fuck it. Listen,
okay.
I love some Kendrick albums, so he can take 1 or 2 L's. It's fine. He's a big boy. I think the thing that's really killing me about this album is its execution. Bro,
do you know what? The biggest thing for me... do you know what? You're going to have to shake my hand for that, because
the execution, man, it's not really up to snuff with me.
For me, the production is amazing on this track, but the execution is subpar.
Yeah, so what I mean by execution, I'm talking about how lyrics are laid out.
Yeah.
How the singing is, how it's paced out as well, and also the production.
Oh, you're talking about... I think the production is fantastic on this.
I think it's great in spots.
I think the execution, so like the lyrics, the pacing, they fall a bit subpar. And don't get me wrong, there are good moments where the pacing and the lyrics are good, but in a general sense, I think there's a lot of sort of just like... And this is really harsh. I think there's a lot of bland tracks.
There are some blandness in there, like especially Die Hard.
Yeah.
Die Hard's quite bland. Die Hard feels like a Black Panther B-side.
Yeah.
It does feel like a Black Panther B-side that was made within that sort of time period.
And the thing is, like, the sound and when I talk about production, I'm talking like the sound and the
same.
Like there's as in the sound of like the music rather than the lyrics. I think the production on this album is great. Especially with the mirrored thing. Now that I know about that, I think to produce such a thing. And I know, was it Dr. Dre that had a hand in this, I think?
Dre didn't touch this album. Dre didn't touch a Kendrick album.
I thought he did.
Nah, dude, like...
I thought I read something that he had a hand in this.
Well, let's look at the album.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I thought I read something.
I'm sometimes really lazy.
I love how you actually did... That's how you...
It's because I do HTML, so I kind of know how Wikipedia works in terms of like
what are you looking for?
My brain doesn't really know what it's doing sometimes. Let me just put in Mr.
Yeah, you just put Kendrick in. There we go.
So let's look at the production notes here. So we got there's no Dre.
Oh, do you know what? Fair enough.
There's Alchemist, which I'm very happy with.
Fair enough.
You've got your usual sound wave.
I must have misread something. Guys, I apologise. I'm not the all-knowing person when it comes to music.
No, that's fine. Look at me. Wow, everyone giving it 10 out of 10s and like...
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Is I think a lot of people dick ride it.
I think some people are just happy to get new Kendrick, bro.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's what I think it is. Now, also, I'm also quite shocked to see how much writers and producers are on a lot of this shit. Like a lot of people have their fingers in this, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just like crazy.
It's a double-edged sword.
It can be a double-edged sword.
It can be good and it can pay off, and it can be bad if it's bad.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes I'm not too comfortable with having too many chefs in the kitchen. Sometimes that makes me kind of worried. Like I feel that with Kanye's album sometimes, where I feel like there's way too many people writing the shit.
Too many people involved.
Way too many people involved. I'd rather hear him just kind of sit in a room by himself and do shit.
Oh, genre, conscientious hip hop.
That's another conversation I might want to try and get into.
Okay.
As well, because I saw a lot of people talking about it on social media.
We'll see if we've got time for that at the end.
Yeah. Execution is definitely one of my gripes of this album.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I feel like there's certain moments where I'm like, I love the themes, I like what he's saying. There's a lot of things I can resonate with, but how he's displaying it and putting it out there isn't really doing it for me.
And I don't think it's as punchy as on previous albums.
No, it's definitely not as punchy. Like, for example, Rich Spirit, like, it doesn't do anything for me, bro.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of the first half, which is the Big Steppers half,
yes,
doesn't do a lot for me.
There are some standouts for me. So
there's a few standouts. 100% there's a few standouts, but a lot of it doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah,
I think the second half does more for me.
Yeah, exactly. If you're talking about execution in terms of production, Worldwide Steppers. Now, I fucking like this song, kind of. But there's something I really wish it had. Some drums. You know
Is that the one that's just piano?
Yeah, it's like some piano, but it's got like some really hard thudding. I don't know, it's like a bass chord going on in the background.
I know this is not one that I listen to on the regular.
It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like, it's really like, it's a good bass line, but I'm thinking if this guy had like some crisp drums like laid in by like Madlib or something, this shit would have sounded amazing. I would have lost my fucking mind. Like, I remember when I was in the car, this shit goes hard in the car.
Okay.
Because like you got the thudding like bass.
Well, my first listen was on Studio Beats.
Oh, okay, cool.
I purchased myself a very frivolous purchase, I might add, some Studio Beats, which I reserve for... So I don't use them all the time, which is fucking bad. But I reserve for when I want to listen. When I want to listen to music.
Yeah.
So, yes. Oh, okay, yes. So this is the track where he talks about like fucking white girls.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I was fucking with this beat, and I was thinking to myself, all right, when the drums coming in, and the drums never really came in until like some very small, quick. Interlude.
I'm sort of remembering this one a bit more now.
Yeah, it's when the third verse kicked in and it was like this really just great sample, but I was like, oh shit, and then it went back to the other part. I'm like, damn, we need some drums on this bass line because this shit would have gone hard.
I hear you. Again, this is not one that I really fuck with a lot. It is one of the ones that I wouldn't say bland, but it's kind of a bit like it washed over me a little bit.
It was interesting. This is one of the things that I have this love-hate relationship with this album, is that its execution is terrible, but there's some things I'm like, yo, he's really telling his truth, and I can appreciate
throughout he is
through and through. This is like a big therapy session with Kendrick.
It is, yeah.
And like, Damn felt like that, but it feels a little bit more. Well,
Damn was about like the survivor's guilt, all that kind of stuff. This is a little.
No, that was To Pimp a Butterfly with the poem.
I think it carried on in Damn though.
No. This Damn is a little bit more like.
Pride is all about his survivor's guilt.
I took it more as like I took Damn as a bit of like him trying to be this like person to like save the world with his music.
Oh, okay.
Because like he's having this sort of flip-flopping dichotomy with himself where he wants to do what's right for people, but he also wants to do what's right for him. Like
okay, I can see that.
But it was so messy. That's why it didn't really click with me first time.
But what we also forgot to mention, this is meant to be his last project.
Last project with Top Dog Entertainment. So we don't know. Like, this is his last project with Top Dog Entertainment, and I'm assuming he's going to go and focus more on the company that he started up, the PJ Lang company. Yes. That we don't really know what it's doing.
I'm not really sure.
A lot of it could just be like music, media. It says a lot of it looks like it's going to be for the creatives, which I'm always happy with the creatives. So,
do you think this could possibly be his last album then?
Maybe.
Certainly last full-length album. Maybe he'd drop a EP or something at some point.
Maybe. Like, listen, man, Kendrick's got nothing else to prove right now, man.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
He's got the Grammys. He's got the Pulitzer, man. He's done like good tours.
I think he's got the plaudits from the fans as well.
Yeah, man. He's got the props. Everyone like a lot of people like.
It's
Kendrick.
A good time to bow out if he does decide to bow out.
A lot of people are bow out. I think Cole's gonna bow out soon.
Possibly.
I don't know about Drake. Like, I don't know where Drake is in his career, in terms of where.
I still think he's got very playable music in him.
I think he can make like another poppy album and just keep going. Like, I feel like Drake's not really thinking about ejecting anytime soon.
And also as well, like, in all fairness to Drake and Kendrick, is they make very different types of music.
No, of course. I think
Kendrick makes, as we spoke earlier, a lot thought-provoking music, whereas I can't necessarily say the same thing about Drake.
I think Drake, he appeals for like a lot of emotions. He appeals for a lot of like relationship kind of struggles. He was talking more about love and like...
But more in a poppy sense.
In a poppy sense, yeah.
Whereas I think Kendrick, he makes you think about stuff. There's certainly some tracks.
Sorry, you said something very interesting.
Okay, what did I say?
You said Kendrick made you think about something.
Stuff.
You know what? He said the exact same thing on The Savior. Kendrick made you think about it, but he's not your savior.
Oh shit!
That's why I had
Again,
to
that's
laugh.
Another track that I'm not too keen on, but fair enough.
I like it in terms of what it's bringing to the table. So, like, look, Kendrick made you think about it, but he's not your savior.
Oh yeah, the intro to the track. Yes, of course. Sorry, guys, I'm really apologise. I'm not a fucking receptacle of knowledge when it comes to lyrics. So I need to be prompted. Shaq is very kindly going into the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's the song that had the COVID.
Yeah. I think with this song, Savior, I know we're bouncing around a little bit, but I thought I'd talk about it quickly. I think it's important, man, because a lot of not me, I'm a grown-ass man, but a lot of these kids nowadays really do turn to these musicians as their saviors.
That is very true. And
it's sad because I'm like, bro, like, you can appreciate.
Well, I think that's very good that he has Baby Keem on this track as well. Which, is he related to Baby Keem?
That's his cousin.
It's his cousin. I thought so.
Boy, nepotism, boy. Baby Keem getting the biggest stimulus package in his life. Like, Jesus Christ.
What do you think of Baby Keem?
He's all right. I feel like I'm too old for Baby Keem.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was younger, I'd really fuck with him. Like, yeah. I feel like he's fully, like, I'm not like that old, but I feel like I'm old enough to not really appreciate Baby Keem as much.
I think we are getting to an age where new music certainly is very hit or miss with us.
I say definitely like younger acts in hip hop, because I'm not gonna be out there fucking doing backflips to what's a new rapper? I don't even know the new rappers. Fuck.
I mean, even like people like Like all the little people, like
All the littles, I can't. It's not for me, man. I feel like I'm too old for that shit now.
Some of their tracks are hype as fuck, but I don't listen to it as like a
That's
deep,
like gym
meaningful.
music.
Yeah,
It's definitely gym music for
which
me.
is nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Like certain tracks you got to hear in the gym.
But some people will go, "Oh, that's disrespectful." I don't.
No.
We don't mean that in a disrespectful way. There's some tracks that I do not care for the artist. I do not care for the content, but the track itself is fucking hype.
Bro, I was in the gym. I was in the gym today. But
You were in the gym today.
Yeah, it was like last week or so. I was doing like arms. I threw on some Unknown T.
Okay.
That album, fam, that's a good gym album.
Just hype.
Hype as shit. Good flows. Like, shout out to Unknown T. But another thing about this album,
We in the don't like still.
we're still in the don't likes. I don't think I'm a fan of Kendrick singing.
Do you know what? That is something that I haven't really given much thought.
I thought I was.
I don't mind it at all, I think.
I thought I was a fan of it, and then I heard it for an album length, and I'm like, actually, I don't think I like it.
I could take it or leave it. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's something that I necessarily don't like, but I don't think. I mean, it's not like he's a John Legend.
No. He's not. He's no like Barry White or anything. But
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
he can hold a note,
yeah, that's a lot of
which is fine.
Last but not least, in terms of what I don't like, and
Do you know? Quickly, I think for me, it's the overall blandness of the track.
there are
Of the album, sorry.
there are too many spots on this album where I feel like the instrumentation is not adventurous at all.
I do agree. But I think that more from Kendrick rather than the actual track itself.
Yeah, from like just like obviously
It
we've heard this on
boils
Black
back.
Panther. We've heard him
Yeah.
do shit like this on Black Panther, but I didn't chalk it up as like this is the direction he's going. I just thought, oh, he's making a movie soundtrack
Yes,
tie-in,
yeah.
so of course he can't. He's not
It's
gonna
got to be scaled back a bit
Yeah.
for the movie tie-in.
Yeah, exactly. So I gave it a little pass for that. But
And do you know what? I don't actually mind that track, the Black Panther one.
Oh, you mean All the Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like All the Stars. It's fine. You know, it's just throw it on. It's cool. But those are my biggest gripes about the album. Some things aren't really adventurous. The execution is not that great in a few spots. I'm not a fan of his singing as far as I thought I was. But
Do you? So this is a bit of a controversial question.
yeah.
Thought provoking, and I haven't actually seen anyone ask this in some of the things I've read and watched about this album. This is famously a double album.
Yeah, that's a big shoes to fill.
Do you think this project would have been better if it wasn't a double album? Or potentially, do you think it had the potential if it was the sort of the same vibe, but you cut a couple of tracks out of it?
It could have been a nice little, maybe like 13 track one, maybe.
This is 18, isn't it?
This is about 18. Oh, actually, I'd say 15. This could probably be a 15 track. Oh, no.
So that would be a big album.
Wait. Actually, I might be talking a bunch of shit. Don't listen to me.
I think it's 18, isn't it?
It is 18. Sorry,
It is 18, yeah.
So maybe you can cut it down to like 15. I would throw out.
I'm not, but the thing is, I'm not necessarily saying because thematically all the songs work in like the narrative of the album. I'm just saying, do you think because it was a double album and as you just said, big shoes to fill, would it have benefited if it wasn't a double album and maybe if it was a sort of a, say maybe a 13 to 15 track album?
No, I think the double album.
I think that's a very interesting point to make.
I think the double album works well.
I think it works well for the narrative that he's trying to tell in the album. But what I'm saying is, in terms of like the execution and the blandness that we spoke about, do you think that those could have been mitigated if it was a shorter album?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay,
I think
no, fair
Kendrick
enough.
probably had some ideas that he wanted to get out.
And that's fair enough.
And who knows how many tracks are locked away in the vault?
Yeah.
That from the studio sessions. We have no idea.
No, you make a good point. I just thought, do you know what? I thought I'd ask the question because I think I haven't seen anyone else ask that out there. Do you think it could have benefited if it was a shorter track list? Not necessarily a double album. It could have just been a regular old single album.
And like, there's not a lot of good hip hop double albums.
No.
There's All Eyes on Me by Tupac. There's Biggie Smalls' Life After Death.
mean, we are talking.
Those are like classics. So
Yes.
like, of course. You know what? I might throw this up there. People might scream at me for saying this, but I would probably put Speakerbox and The Love Below as like a really good hip hop double album. I know people are gonna look at me crazy.
I don't think I would, but okay.
I know people look at me crazy, but I think a lot of
I do think you love Outkast.
I do love Outkast, but I do feel like a lot of post Aquemini Outkast gets like harshly critiqued.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think a lot of people are expecting.
But they did hit the highs in their earlier work in the 90s.
Well, yeah, how the fuck do you be 80 aliens? Like, Aquemini is still fucking good. But I like Stankonia. I know a lot of people are like, I fucking love Stankonia. I think that shit is hella fun. Like, people don't like B.O.B. I'm like, B.O.B. is fire. Bombs Up Back There is fire. But anyway.
Good things.
Let's get into the good things of this album.
Seen the time. Should this be the last thing we talk about? The good. We'll round it out on the good things.
But I do want to talk about a specific, like, you know, it'll come up in the good things. The good things about this is that Kendrick's really talking about some shit that I'm fucking with.
Yes.
I really fuck with some of the things he's talking about, like especially on Father Time.
I do like Father Time.
Now that is a really good song.
And Father Time, I mean, that for a lot of people will resonate with them.
That resonates with me, bro.
I know it resonates with you.
Like, you know why? Because listen, there are some men out there walking around with like some father issues. I know obviously people like to chalk out, only girls get daddy issues.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much you want to go into it, so I won't say anything.
No, like, I'll be honest with you, I'll be candid, guys. Like, I grew up without a dad, but I don't really like be dwelling on that shit anymore. But like, why it resonates with me, because I'm like, damn, there are like people that have like either no dads or they have like really tough dads, and they grow up with some really fucked up like daddy issues. It may seem like, how you a big man with daddy issues? Like, fam,
no, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, bro. Like, parents can like really affect you and how you grow. And it was cool to see him come out and just be honest about like, yo, like, I got a lot of. It's
a very candid track.
It's a very candid track. He was like, yo, I'm not a good sore loser, because like if I lost a fight,
and that is what. So I spoke about ones that I would listen to more than once. That is one that I've listened to outside of the normal proceedings of the album.
Shout out to Sampha as well, man. He did a very good job in that hook.
Yeah.
Very good. I didn't know he was from South London. I didn't know Sampha's from South London.
I did not know that.
Like, I'll double check, but someone did say Sampha's from South London.
I mean, I really enjoyed that track. Is he from South London?
English. Oh, Morden, yeah.
So round the corner.
I've been around Morden, yeah.
Round the corner. Fair play. That is a very big. Yeah, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal, man.
I mean, he's not. He's sort of around the same age as us as well.
Oh yeah, he's 33. Damn. But no, he did his thing, man. Sampha did his thing. Father Time was a great song. It was like, that's the sort of songs I wanted to hear throughout the entire album.
Same.
Really good flows, great pacing, fantastic hook. Production meets that balance of modern and also experimental.
What I was going to say, when we had The Heart Part 5, and then we got through sort of the first 4 or 5 tracks, I was quite disappointed. Then when I heard Father Time, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
we're getting into it now.
I sat up a bit.
We're getting into it now, and then we've already spoke about
Rich Spirit and Now we got to talk about We Cry Together.
Arguably the best track on the album.
This is like Kendrick's version of Eminem's Kim.
I've heard that comparison. Yeah.
Not as brutal, not as one-sided,
but. Not as one-sided, not as brutal, but still as violent, but in terms of the language.
It's a very graphic portrayal of like... Imagine like a very... Like get the most raw like visualization of like a proper shouting match going on with like a couple, a proper fight.
A domestic... non-physical domestic.
Non-physical.
But I will say something before we talk about this fantastic track. I will say something that I was telling Shaq before we started recording this podcast. On Spotify, it said one more version released, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So the second time that I listened to this entire album, admittedly it was on in the background while I was doing something, I got to We Cry Together, and I didn't realise that the one more released version was the clean version. So it literally sounded like I thought my brain was broken because it was literally it
was cutting out a bunch. I'm like, how someone had to sit there a long time and cut out all the swears and that shit.
We Cry Together is the 8th track. I got through 7 tracks before realizing I was on the clean version of the album.
God. Oh my god! You know that happens sometimes. I'll be listening to the album. I'm like, wait.
We Cry Together. Pretty much every other word is a bad word.
It's a lot. It's a lot of cussing. You know, don't play this when your parents are around, kids. Don't.
Yeah, but it is also a phenomenal performance from
Kendrick and Taylor.
Well, I was more shouting her out because she is phenomenal.
Taylor Page.
I'm not familiar with her.
She's an actress.
She's an actress.
I have to Google her.
That makes a lot of sense because I can feel her emotion through the track. It's one of the most rawest.
It's very raw
Performances on a track I've ever heard in my life, and I mean, Kendrick is phenomenal in it, but he's not an actor.
She's dating what's his name, Jesse Williams.
I don't know who that is, but fair enough.
Okay, cool. Good shout out to Jesse Williams.
I don't know who that is.
He's cool. He's a cool guy.
He's a guy.
But yeah, that's interesting. What other acting? I know I don't want to get too caught up in this. Let me see what other movies she's done.
Is there anything that stick out?
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I haven't watched that. That's pretty good.
I heard that's quite good. That was that Chadwick Boseman's last film? Was it his last film?
Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
I mean, he looked.
You know what? Let me just.
He looks quite ill in the film anyway.
Yo, no wait.
Yeah, it was his last film.
Yeah, so. Yeah, The Five Bloods was the last one he did while he was alive, as in he got to see it when it came out.
Yeah, it was released. Yeah. It says it there.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What's it say?
Posthumous.
Does that mean after you've died?
Yeah. Okay, but
yes. Sidetrack. This track is amazing.
Yeah, We Cry Together is fantastic. It's very, very good.
I also said to you when I come in to record this, I said this for me might be Kendrick's best track. Full stop. It's up there. It's in a conversation.
It's definitely going to be up there with a conversation for sure because it's a great performance.
And I might be talking recency biased, obviously, because it's one of the most recent tracks I've heard of Kendrick. And
it was over a pretty decent Alchemist beat. So
yes,
shout out to Alchemist. I love the Alchemist.
It is.
He's been doing so much. I
do like the transition at the end though.
Into Purple Heart.
No. Sorry, the transition in the way they're talking to each other.
No, it's very good.
They say, and I'm not going to repeat what they say. One of them I can't repeat. But they go from fuck you to fuck me, and then they end up having sex at the end. They
had makeup sex. I've never really been in situations to argue with my girl and have makeup sex. I don't really be having toxic relationship guys, so you know what I mean.
But I really did enjoy that at the end because it was like their.
Whoops.
Oh, what have you done?
I opened my gaming browser because I was trying to open up the damn levels.
Yeah, I was going to say everything's recording.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, no, I really liked that transition at the end because it has the domestic, and I mean it's not massively.
It's not brutal, but it's very intense.
It's very trivial though. It's over very trivial things.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're cussing each other. Like she says, I wish I fucked your cousin. Oh, I wish I fucked your cousin.
Baby Keem's already sitting there, something like, oh shit. But
and then he takes her keys. He's like, "You're not going to work. You're going to be late.
You're going to walk to that bitch." And I was like, "Bro, when I was in my car dying of laughter, I was like, bro, what is this?" I was like, "What the fuck?"
Do you know what? It's very true. Of it's like couples argue over the most trivial stuff.
Man, we do.
Because you come in at the argument, you don't even know why they're arguing.
It's very much like a fly on the wall type situation,
and that's what I absolutely love about that track.
There's two. There's like 2 songs I want to get to.
Okay.
Auntie Diaries.
Yes, I'm glad you got to that one because that is another one of my favorite tracks.
It's a song that's been discussed quite a lot on social media.
I can imagine.
So
it's a very
honest, like heartfelt sort of song about Kendrick's.
But as a child.
As a child.
And I think that is the important distinction in this, because some of the things that he says in it isn't necessarily acceptable, but through the eyes of a child, where they have the innocence of a child and they don't know any better and they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a sweet track.
Yeah, so that's the thing I want to try and, discuss, is that I know a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. They're not particularly happy about the song.
I can understand,
use
but
the F-bomb,
I can understand that.
I won't say properly, but he used the F-bomb. Obviously, a lot of people say, but it's within the context of the song. Which other people say, well, how would you feel if Ed Sheeran was talking about an anti-racist song and start using the N-word? I'm like, all right, cool. So it's one of those ones where, do you kind of give it the benefit of the doubt, or are you just upset that he even said that word in the first place? It's not really for me to say because I'm straight. So
I also think people will fall on either side of the argument.
Yeah, I think that's what makes for good art, is that it kind of creates
divisive.
It's divisive. It does create these kind of conversations about whether or not he should have used it or not.
And I must say, what he's doing is he says it, and I think it's towards the end of the track, he references saying that word in connection to the girl he brought on stage when she was rapping with him.
Oh, his now transgender uncle.
No. The girl he brought on stage when she was rapping with him.
Yes, and she said the N-word.
And she said the N-word because it was part of the track. And he shot the track down and said, "What the hell?"
You got to pull up one word out. And yeah.
In fact, can you get the lyrics up for that? Because I think it's actually quite. It made me think. Certainly, it was a very and I don't want to misquote it at all. It's towards the end of the. So
it's
literally the last verse, the last lines.
You said Kendrick ain't no room for contradiction. To truly understand love, switch position. F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. We can say it together, but only if you let a white girl say nigga. And I was like, it's true. We can't say, if I say the F-bomb, then people should be able to say the N-bomb.
Thing is, I think he makes a very good observation and a very good point there. I mean, a point that I'm not throwing my hat in to the ring at all. But it's definitely thought provoking. And because obviously he's referencing the girl that come on stage to sing with him or to rap with him. Well, I assume that's what he's referencing. Yeah,
he is referencing that. That was a pretty crazy time. A lot of people would just say, "Oh, but if it's a part of the song, why can't you say it?" And I'm like,
And well, it's the similar conversation that's happening now.
Yeah, it's basically, we shouldn't say slurs. Period. You shouldn't say slurs. Period. It shouldn't be acceptable at any point in time. But just kind of talking about how he's just growth in terms of accepting his now transgender uncle,
there's another family member he talks about as well.
Another cousin who
actually had the operation as well.
I think they both had the operation.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just the cousin.
Yeah, so the cousin who is now a woman now. I hope I'm getting this right. I hope I'm not misgendering anyone. I'm trying to get this right.
We're going by the lyrics on
guys. I'm an old school dude. Gender politics are quite new to me. I'm trying to get with the times.
But that's why I think it's a very good track. Because it's very current. It's a very current topic, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of people now are talking about transgenders and so on and so forth. So no, I think. Do I feel like you should say the F-bomb? I don't know, man, because I don't know if that's the way if we have to kind of display that in such a raw, unfiltered way to get a point across to show people that, this is what's going on. Do we want to censor the art? Do we want to stop people from really seeing that?
I can understand the conversation. I think this entire track is from the eyes of a younger Kendrick, as in a child Kendrick, and how he saw his family that were transitioning at the time. And also, he didn't give a shit when he was a kid. It was just, that's what it was.
Yeah. But good song.
I really enjoyed that song.
I like it.
I understand the commentary around it, and as I said, it's not our place to throw our hats into the ring because we don't really have a leg to stand on in any of the arguments.
I'm not going to tell people how to feel about like when he said it. Like it's that's how art is, man. You have to feel however you want to feel about it,
and it will be divisive. But again, art is divisive. Or can be divisive.
It can. And last but not least, I got to talk about this song, and that is Mother I Sober.
Again, another. Do you know what? Another one that could be contender for the best track on the album.
Man,
it's a very good.
What a very gut wrenching, difficult song. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a very good way.
Again, similar to Father Time.
Similar to Father
Time.
But
this time, obviously, by the title of the track, talking about Dear Old Mom.
He's talking about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And I just want to put a little warning out there for you guys. If you feel uncomfortable with that, we will be talking about this sexual abuse. If you don't want to hear that, just skip ahead throughout the podcast. I don't want you to feel triggered by that. I don't want to, upset you guys.
I rate that. That's very responsible.
So
fair enough.
I know it's difficult.
Enough.
It's difficult times.
No, 100. Yeah, it can trigger people, can't it?
It can trigger people because people might have had a brush with it. But anyway, now one of the things, the lyrics that kind of spoke. Well, it wasn't just that the fact that he was just talking about his experiences with how his mum came out and said that I was abused when I was in Chicago, and that's why they moved to Compton. Who knows? But it was also a lyric that's been sticking out to my brain recently about him saying that.
What, on this track?
On this track, I think it was the third verse where he was saying like, I can see through the rappers' secrets. A lot of them are like sexual abuse victims. They're hiding that pain with the chains and the tattoos and everything
and
through
the
their
persona
vices.
And the ego and yeah.
And you know what? That is probably a real thing, because as much as this might sound a little bit like, I don't know if it's going to sound crazy, but there are a lot of like young black boys who are victims of sexual abuse. Like, you'll be surprised how much that happens. I know a lot of people's kind of idea. Wait, talking to Mike quickly?
No. I'm deadly silent.
No, I was just making sure the levels were good.
I'm listening to you intently.
Yeah, there are a lot of like people that come out. Like, I think Tyler Perry came out recently and gave his experience about how he was sexually abused.
Really? I missed that.
As a child. And DMX, shortly before he passed, kind of gave like a spoken word about how he was abused as a child. And I think that's a topic we got, because R. Kelly was also abused as a child as well.
Do you know what? Like, abuse breeds abuse.
Yeah.
Because obviously R. Kelly, we've spoke about him before on this podcast.
He's done some fucked up stuff.
He's done stuff, so it's not surprising that he was also abused as a child. Yeah. Because as I said, in a lot of cases, and I'm not saying every case, in a lot of cases, abuse breeds abuse.
It does. It definitely does.
And it's a vicious circle.
It is a vicious cycle. I think it's a very interesting thing, because Denzel Curry on his latest album came out and spoke about how he was like sexually abused as a kid as well. And it's just sad, man. I think it's definitely something that I think needs to be more of a conversation right now. It's just talking about abuse by kids, like kids that have been abused by adults that they've trusted, and now they're in situations where it's coming out in different ways, whether they're violent, whether they're like I think that's another thing that he also explained, like the reason why that might have affected how he dealt with like infidelity. Is a lot of his traumas that he was trying to hide, and a lot of his vices. Because you remember you saying on the first track that the fame and the riches, he didn't stop the pain. Yeah. I think that's. I don't know. I just think about that song a lot, because I'm like, damn, he really hit the nail on the head.
It's a very, 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 very good track.
It's fantastic, man.
And again, as I said, it could be in the conversation of one of the best tracks on the album, and even one of the best tracks that he's ever done.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, the two standout tracks are Mother I Sober and We Cry Together, or Together We Cry. What way round is it?
We cry together. So I think that's just my overall thoughts now.
And the fact that those two tracks are so unbelievably strong does make the overall blandness of the album palatable.
Yeah, I think it definitely, a lot of those songs that I said I enjoyed definitely saved the album for me. I'm still kind of more or less like, oh, it's all right, it's okay. And
you said to me before we started recording that you are warming to the album.
I'm warming up to the album just a smidgen, just a little bit. So it's definitely like, the best rating I could possibly give it at this point in time is like a very, very light 6.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I haven't listened to it as much as you. I probably will give it a few more listens.
I'll definitely be spinning Father Time more and more because I
really like Father Time as well. I mean, We Cry Together and Mother I Sober.
That's a tough song to get through. I thought You was hard to get through on To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yes.
Mother I Sober is way harder to get through. That shit is really too much.
Yeah. I mean, they're two phenomenal standout tracks, and I mean, if I had to just rate the tracks alone, I would say they're like 10 out of 10 tracks.
Yeah, Mother I Sober is definitely like a 10 out of 10. Father Time is definitely a 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic song, but no, man, I think it's a decent album for him to kind of go out on. It's got. If this
is his last album, firstly, I would be very sad that it's his last album. Not because I think he could have done better or anything. It's just having no new Kendrick music in the world would be quite a tough pill to swallow. But I think if you look at his 6 major projects that he's done, I mean, he has a fantastic discography.
Yeah, no, Kendrick's done a lot, man. He's done a great deal over the years, man. I've enjoyed his mixtape stuff as well, which I feel a lot of people need to go check out his mixtapes because they're just really good. Yeah, see, Overly Dedicated, it's on here as well. But you go on to Dat Piff because you'll get the Heart Part 2 with that mixtape.
Okay.
And also there's just the C4 mixtape he did, which is pretty cool.
That one I do know.
Yeah, because that's when he's got a bitch, I'm in the club.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be sad if this is the last album he went off on, because I wouldn't
be sad because I think it's a great discography. I would be sad that there would be no, like when someone dies, like you're not sad that they're dead, you're sad that you'll never see them again. Yeah. That it's that kind of vibe.
I'll feel happy to know that he's just kind of done what he needs to do. He's like, because if you think about hip hop's like a game, man. People come in, they put on their high scores, and then they just duck, man. They've done what they need to do, and I think he's got a high score. He's in the books. He's in the books. He's in
the conversation of like one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Definitely in the like because everyone's got their generational sort of greats. A lot of people say it goes Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake. That's like the top 3, the top dogs
of this gen.
Yeah, that's what people like to say.
I mean, I can't argue with those, to be honest. I'm not a massive fan.
Those are my personal favorites.
No. But I couldn't argue with those. I personally, I'm not a massive fan of Drake.
No.
I wouldn't personally put him in the top 3 of this generation, and I don't really want to get into that now. But I can't see any complaints with people saying those 3, especially J. Cole as well. J. Cole is very, very good.
J. Cole's latest album was alright, man. Definitely say it was alright, but I think we finished up this little episode here, man.
Yeah, man, it's been a good hour.
See, it's been a good hour, man. And I think it's a decent album. I think whatever Kendrick wants to do going forward, I'm all behind it, man. Because I know what he's got with PJ Lang. I don't know what he's gonna do with that shit.
We'll see, won't we? We'll see.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I will say, guys, let us know if you've listened to the album.
Yeah, please do.
If you have, let us know what you think. If you haven't, let us know why you haven't listened to the album as well. There might be people out there that don't want to listen to the album. And let us know what you like, your scores. Do you think we were a bit harsh? Do you think we were spot on, or do you think we were being too generous? Because I know, unfortunately, this album is very, very mixed with the public.
It's very, very polarizing for sure. I've been in the conversation until some people think it's like amazing, some people say it's fucking trash.
I think it's somewhere in the middle.
I think it's somewhere in the middle, bro.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, bro, let's outro us out.
Alright, guys, if you like this episode of the Betwixt Ideas Podcast, make sure that you like all our socials. Let's start off with the first one. Twitter, @Betwixt Ideas. Instagram, the Betwixt Ideas Podcast. TikTok, the Betwixt Ideas Podcast. And YouTube, the Betwixt Ideas Podcast as well, I think.
Possibly.
But I think it's just Betwixt Ideas Podcast.
Or if you put it in YouTube Betwixt Ideas, we will be the first.
We are in the algorithm. We are in the algorithm now. And last but not least is the feedback email, which is thebetwixtideasfeedback@gmail.com.
Please email us feedback. Any ideas you want us to talk about in the future, whether that be for the anime critique, the cryptid top trumps, or the sort of the Betwixt Ideas episodes. We want your feedback, guys, and questions. We want questions as well. We'd love to answer questions from you guys.
Man, keep them coming in, guys. Man, we got a whole bunch of shit we want to talk about.
And comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you share, tag us on socials, and I will like it because I do all the socials.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you.
All right, guys, have a good one. Peace out, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye. Bye.